So you're planning a small wedding, and with everything given COVID, you might be thinking a backyard wedding is a great idea. But backyard weddings come with their own set of challenges. And that's, whether or not COVID exists. So today we're talking about what to expect with a backyard wedding and what you need to plan for. Hi there, I'm Jamie Chang, your destination wedding planning guru and designer of joy at Mango Muse Events, the creator of Passport to Joy, the step-by-step online wedding planning course for couples, and the founder of Let's I Do This, virtual and hybrid weddings in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I share real and honest and useful wedding planning tips, tricks, and advice you can use to help make planning your wedding easy and joyful so you can create a wedding you love. Because let's be honest, wedding planning can be super stressful, especially now, and downright painful, and nobody wants that. So we're bringing the joy back to wedding planning. Are you ready? All right, so let's do this. Now, we've been talking about virtual weddings, we've been talking about small weddings, we've been talking about alternative weddings that, you can have during these COVID times. And, let's be honest, sort of every wedding now is a bit of an alternative wedding. Recently, we also talked about, where to have your alternative wedding, whether that's at home or at a venue. And if you haven't checked any of those videos out, you definitely should, and hit subscribe so you can get access to all the new ones. Now, if you decided from our last video, which by the way, definitely check that out. If you decided from our last video that having your wedding at home, made a lot of sense, having your wedding in your backyard sounded really fun, then fantastic. That's great. At-home weddings are fun. They're, super private, they're super intimate, and they're just so personal because, well, it's your home. And it can just feel so comfortable and easy and laid back in a way that a venue can't. And it's one of the wonderful things about it. But, backyard weddings do come with their own challenges. They aren't the easiest. And there's a lot more to sort of think about and plan for. And this is, whether or not COVID even exists. This is just in general, backyard weddings in general. And so if you, aren't aware of these things beforehand, you may potentially regret your decision down the road, and we don't want that. So before you start diving into planning, here's what you need to know about, a backyard wedding so you know what you're getting yourself into here. Now, first, it's important to really think about your backyard wedding as sort of like an open field in the middle of nowhere. It can be beautiful and wonderful because really you can do whatever you want. But it's also a blank slate in sort of every way imaginable, which means you'll need to bring everything in. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Not just things like a photographer and an officiant, but tables and chairs and all your rentals and lighting and power and Wi-Fi and bathrooms and a place for your caterer to set up and landscaping and more. This in and of itself just requires a lot more coordination and lots of logistics to sort of think through to get everything organized and set up properly. But unlike an open field in the middle of nowhere, you also have to deal with some restrictions. And these are restrictions regarding just your home. So that could be sound levels or time restrictions, due to neighbors. It could be parking because you live in a residential area, obviously. It could be space and how much space you have, which obviously is very important during these COVID times, and thus, what's possible, what you can do. And then, if the weather doesn't cooperate with you, you may not have a feasible plan B. Now, you need to take these restrictions into account as you're planning as well. With these restrictions and, having to bring everything in, backyard weddings can fortunately end up being more expensive than you realize. There's a misconception that backyard weddings are cheaper because, it's your yard. And while, yes, you own the venue and you don't have to pay a rental fee for it because it's yours, you also have to do everything. And that includes, maintaining it, cleaning it, both before, during, and after your wedding. And your time, does cost something. So your backyard wedding, can end up costing you more too, which is a really important thing to know. Now, all of these things that we just talked about apply to a backyard wedding no matter what. But during these COVID times, you'll also need to think about sanitation and how you're going to make sure, bathrooms and tables and chairs and forks and food and drinks, if you're able to do that, are all provided in a safe way for your guests and also for the teams and the people, the vendors that you're using and them providing those things. This will likely require more space on top of, the space for your guests and procedures and staff who can actually manage these things. You'll need to think about these COVID things even if you aren't having a backyard wedding. But since you own the venue, more of that responsibility will fall on you. And that unfortunately also includes liability. Luckily though, the upside here is that your wedding will likely be small, right? You're planning a small wedding given COVID. And so the management of all things COVID will be easier because you just have less people. And with less people, it's just less to have to deal with or manage. Okay, so we've talked through, the trickier, challenging things about having a backyard wedding, which, was what this video was all about. And now that you know what you're getting into, you might not be so thrilled. So I want to take a brief moment here to talk about some of the great things about a backyard wedding. Because, it's not all doom and gloom. It can be awesome for so many reasons. And one of the best things is that, you have full control, complete control. And that means you can make it your own completely. So what does that mean in reality? It means, you can use things that you own at your wedding. That can be chairs or china, right? Because you don't have to transport it. You own it. It can also be really eco-friendly in that way too, which is awesome for a lot of reasons. You can design it as you see fit without the restrictions you would have at a venue. You can buy things instead of renting things, even more so here because you can easily keep them after the wedding and make them have a second life, which is also eco-friendly. Landscaping can be a bit of a pain and expensive, but the great thing is that it's also something that you'll get to enjoy after the wedding in a way that you wouldn't with a venue. And let's not forget that it's super private. It's really intimate and just so personal because it's your home. Does that make you feel a little better? Hopefully, because, backyard weddings really can be great. I wasn't lying there. They really can, but as you can see, they also do come with challenges. So it's just important that you're aware of those. Doesn't mean you shouldn't or can't have one, just that you need to think through a bunch of different things to ensure, that everything goes smoothly. And I would highly recommend considering hiring a planner to help you through this, even if it's just someone to help consult and ask questions of, because it'll just make you feel a lot more confident in what you're doing. And, they'll be able to help you through all the pieces you'll need to be thinking through. Okay? So we're going to wrap this video up with a question. And the question is this, what are you most excited about having your backyard wedding, having that wedding in your backyard? What's the most exciting thing about that for you? Let me know in a comment below. And if you enjoyed today's video, please like it, give us some thumbs up. You can check out our other wedding planning videos for even more tips. And please hit subscribe so you can get access to all the new ones. And if you want help through the entire wedding planning process, please check out Passport to Joy, my online course. You can find all the links below because you deserve to enjoy your engagement, no matter what your budget is and even in the middle of a pandemic. Thanks so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye!